on to filling out the payment number. So the payment number, we want this payment number to automatically fill up until n times y, which in this case would be 240. And we would like to accommodate up to, say, a 30-year loan. So payment number is going to equal, well, it depends. If, left parenthesis, and what we're using here is a logic test or an if statement. So recognize how this rolls. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you tell it what the logic test is, and then you tell it what to do if it's true, and then what to do if it's false. So the logic test in this case is going to be, well, if my previous payment is less than my total number of payments, which would be that value multiplied by this value. So if my payment number is less than my total number of payments, I want it to give me back my previous payment number plus 1. If that is not true, I want it to tell me paid in full. I do have paid in full in quotations, so it gives me a text rather than some numeric value, and then I end my if statement with a right parenthesis. Hit enter, and voila, there's our payment number 2. And so we will have to do a little tweaking on this. I want to take that payment number, and I will click on this green square and drag it downward and run into a problem. So where is that problem coming from? Well, recognize when it's trying to spit a value out for this cell, in dragging these values downward, I also drug my reference cells down. So I want those reference cells to stay fixed. So within this formula, I need to fix D6 and D7, and I'll do so by inserting a $sign in between the D and the 6 and the D and the 7, and then that. So recognize I'm not doing that for A11, and that's because A11 is referencing my previous payment number, which is always going to change. However, my total number of payments will not change given for any given loan. So we hit enter, and now highlight that cell, grab on the little green square, and drag downward, and then voila, look at that. It seems to be working just fine. So let's go ahead and keep dragging this downward until we reach our maximum number of payments. So we have 360 payments for a 30-year loan with monthly payments. So on 361, we should be paid in full. Oh, forgot I started 10 cells deep. There we go. 360th payment on 361, we're paid in full. Okay, so we want to do a similar thing with this payment start date. We want this to automatically fill in. So we will say we want this cell to equal something. Well, it depends. So we use an if statement. If, left parenthesis, well, if my previous payment number is less than or equal to my total number of payments, so if my previous payment number is less than or equal to my total number of payments, and I'm always going to want to reference these two cells, so I'm going to fix them. And well, if this is true, so my payment number is less than or equal to my total number of payments, I want it to give me the date. So the date is a function in Excel, and we need to tell it. So recognize this is date, left parenthesis, and then we say year, left parenthesis, and then we need to tell Excel where to look for the year. And well, that's going to be in this cell, D4. Fix D4, So when we drag this payment date, we don't drag our reference cell. So recognize this is the input for the date function, year, comma, month, comma, day. So there's our year. Now we need to do month. And well, we will reference the same cell, put a $sign to fix those. And then we need to tell it where to find the day, and well, look in the same place and don't look away. So fix that cell. So if my previous payment number is less than or equal to my total number of payments, give me back the date. And well, if not, give me back paid in full, in quotations, paid in full, right parenthesis. And this should give us a date. So recognize if it doesn't give you a date, you need to click on that cell, right click, format cell, and tell it that it's looking at a date. More than likely, it's going to give you some bizarre looking number. So you will notice something. It didn't give me back the date of my second payment. However, it just gave me back the date of when my loan started. So I need to go into this formula, and I need to tell Excel to shift or add something to the month. So I'm going to plus my previous payment number to the month, and that will increment my month accordingly. So if I take this, click on the green square, drag downward, there's my months incrementing automatically. Alright, so that takes care of the payment date. I'll see you on the next one for the starting balance.